sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go! Check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
What you need to know.
NFL League meetings kept off by Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, talking about a lot of things today, including the tush-push discussion, which will be tabled till May.
There are safety issues that are being considered in that case. We have very little data from it.
Goodell was also asked about the possibility of a professional flag football league. His answer:
it's clear that there's a lot of interest in the Pro Flag League. We have been getting bids on people who want to invest in that, either financially or invest in the operations of that. So we're hard at work, and I expect there'll be progress soon.
Steelers owner Art Rooney II admitted that signs are pointing towards Aaron Rodgers joining their team, but added he'd be willing to wait a little longer if the quarterback needs more time to make that decision. Defensive lineman Calais Campbell is signing with the Arizona Cardinals on a 1-year deal. 5 players suspended in their roles in the brawl between the Pistons and Timberwolves. Maryland hiring Buzz Williams.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, how we doing? Tuesday afternoon, we're in and ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show ready to go. Fox Sports Radio, we are live across South Dakota. And, of course, we're live on X right now. If you follow the show, you can watch us right here at Nate Brown Show. Welcome in on X, at Nate Brown Show. YouTube, The Nate Brown Show, so you've got us there as well. The Nate Brown Show is back, Tuesday edition. Let's get ready to go. It's always a great day in South Dakota. A little chilly, a little slick in places. So heads up out there. Let's make it happen tonight. We've got some good guests across the board. Some interesting questions of the day. You know, one thing I don't like? I don't like April Fool's jokes. I mean, I don't like faking people out, like in public, like media companies saying this or saying that. Like Tiger Woods came on Twitter this morning and said he was going to play in the Masters, that his Achilles was fine. I don't like that stuff. We don't need that stuff. So I've got the worst April Fool's jokes in South Dakota sports. I've got that. We're going to have some fun. These would be the worst April Fool's jokes. Let me get into this. Let's get going. The Nate Brown Show is on, and the Forever Lawn guest lineup. Let's take a look. Brought to you by Forever Lawn of South Dakota. The best lineup of artificial grass is right there. Take a look. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota for your home. Landscape grass for turf fields. They have sports grass, top-of-the-line stuff. If you have dogs, specially designed canine grass, and even some golf greens for the backyard. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. Ready to install across the entire state. That's Forever Lawn in South Dakota. The Forever Lawn guest lineup on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Here it is. We'll go inside the South Dakota State men's basketball program. Let's go to Matthew Morse. He agreed to join us tonight, the Yankton Star, and Matthew entering his final year. Matthew Morse on the coaching change. What's it feel like there in Jackrabbit basketball? We'll talk to him straight ahead, kick off the show. Matthew Morse coming up from Brookings. Mike McFeely's on tonight from North Dakota. McFeely's back on the Nate Brown Show, Inforum.com columnist. We'll talk Summit League and more. Frank Schwab, national NFL writer at the owner meetings, and he's live. Yahoo Sports national NFL writer Frank Schwab on tonight. And finally, Jerry Brewer covering the Final Four. He'll be in San Antonio, national columnist for the Washington Post. Jerry Brewer, great guest. So local, regional, national, got you covered tonight. Here we go. Let's get you on 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Powered by the Pizza Ranch at 3809 East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Also drop by the Pizza Ranch in Brandon and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's your favorite buffet at the Pizza Ranch. Locally owned and operated. The Pizza Ranch Hotline, 605-720-1067 for you. Join the show there. And the Barron's Wilson text line ready to go. Text the show directly, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Okay, let's start out with some fun. Today. I'm not going to make up an April Fool's joke like we're going to cover the Final Four this week. I'm not going to do it. We're not going to do that tonight on the Nate Brown Show. But this got me thinking, with all these lame April Fool's jokes out there, with all these people trying to, concerts and this and the announcements. Come on, folks. I was trying to compile a list today. See how busy we are today here at Fox Sports Radio. I was going to compile a list. What would be the biggest April Fool's joke regarding South Dakota sports? We have all of these topics that we debate about, and we say, this will never happen. We beat our heads against the wall and we debate it and we talk about it from high school to college to whatever. This will never happen. That would be the ultimate April Fool's joke. So if I came on the air today, and I said this, would it trick you at all? What would be the biggest April Fool's joke that you wouldn't believe would ever happen in the South Dakota sports world? I've got a list. I've got my top 3. So I'm going to put my top 3 on the poll, and then I'll take yours. If something just pops into your head, I will take yours on that, okay? What would be the biggest April Fool's joke that you simply, if I came on this sports show today and I said, this is happening in South Dakota sports, and you would say, April Fool's, nice, move on. Thanks. You didn't trick us. I'm going to tell you one thing that's on this list, biggest April Fool's joke. If I came on the show today and I would say, South Dakota high school football is going to reduce how many classes we have in this state, you guys you'd stop your car right now and say, wait, what's going on? Well, it's April 4th. That football classes reduction conversation, we aren't going to have it. We've had it. We discuss it. We got kind of close. And then people just keep on saying, you can't reduce high school football classes. We need 7 classes. We need 3 9-man. We need 4 11-man. So that's going to make my list. Biggest April Fool's joke, if I came on the Nate Brown Show today and I said, breaking news out of the Activities Association, they have ruled we're going to go to 5 football classes. You would say, nice try. Here's one for you. This might be the ultimate. This one might be the ultimate April Fool's joke in South Dakota sports. If I came on the show and I told you, hey, it's all an agreement. South Dakota's going to go to one location for all state tournaments. They're going to go to all combined tournaments, AA, A, and B, and they're all going to be in Sioux Falls. People across the state, namely Aberdeen, they might have a little bit of an issue. Are we ever going to have that discussion ever take off at all? My feeling is no, and that's why I threw it into my April Fool's joke. That would never happen in South Dakota sports. All state tournaments in one location. I know Nebraska does it. I know Iowa does it. South Dakota, we aren't going to do that. We're going to spread the tournaments out, and we're going to put them on different weekends. Girls here, boys here. We're going to make people go through this deal. Now, I know people feel passionate about this. Would you ever dream that we would get to combined state tournaments, AA, A, and B? Would we ever dream that we could watch the best players of all classes in one location? Would we ever dream of it, or is it just a pipe dream, an April Fool's joke on the Nate Brown Show that would never happen? That made my list. All state tournaments combined. You aren't going to see it. That's a long road and a long fight there. Which one's tougher? Football classes, lowering them, or all state tournaments in one location? It's a barn burner, let me tell you. Last one on my list, and then I'll throw out one more. But here's the last one on the poll. This one gets people fired up, but this one I feel like maybe has a little bit of a possibility, just a little bit, in South Dakota sports. What if I broke the news today on April 1st that SDSU and USD together are jumping to FBS? The FCS fans would go crazy on this program. You'd hear people just lose their minds. We're going to go FBS, and we got to go to the Potato Bowl. Nobody wants to go to the Potato Bowl. Okay, everybody would lose their minds. That's a big one, and I say maybe there's a small window. I think eventually, I'm going to tell you guys, SDSU and USD, I'm going to say 5 years from now, it's not going to be the same story. College football is going to change, and I believe SDSU and USD will be playing different teams. Maybe, are we going to play different teams 5 years from now? But if I said right here, right now, SDSU, USD jump into the Mountain West, they're going FBS, you know that you would hit me on April Fool's joke. What else am I missing on this list? There's some great South Dakota sports topics. Listener reaction here. This is some good stuff here. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. April Fool's joke in South Dakota sports. West River is going to have competitive football. Oh, come on. Come on now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Here's another one. Listener text. The ESD dissolves. Yeah. That one is a proud tradition and a proud history of ESD schools. So that one would be, well, I don't know if that's an April Fool's joke. I might be able to pull the wool over your eyes. West River football, what do you mean? Like winning a state title? You think that's an April Fool's joke? We've had a few in West River. There's been a few. Let's see. How about this? Alabama football to open the season on the road at South Dakota State. That's a nice one. That is a good one. Could we get them at Dana Dykhouse Stadium? Bring Kalen DeBoer up here. That would have been that's a good one. Alabama football on the road opening the season at South Dakota State. No, they'd rather wait. They wait. Alabama waits. Those SEC schools, they wait till later in the year to play the FCS schools. You know how that schedule is. By the way, we got to get on their schedule later, okay? Let's see here. This is a good one. I see this online on social media. Breaking news. April Fool's joke of all time in South Dakota. Breaking news. Pierre petitions to move to 11 AAA football, and the residents of Pierre show extreme support. Bring on the Sioux Falls Metro, says Pierre. Now that's funny. You could take that to the bank. That is funny. Couple more April Fool's jokes. South Dakota sports version. I like these. Listener text. Northern State announces they're going D1 and they'll join the Summit League. That you never know what's going to happen there. Augustana, remember they were flirting with how do we get to D1, and now they went this hockey route. So stay tuned. Augie was in that type of deal. it wouldn't surprise me if Northern State was, hey, let's try and take things to the next level. Good stuff here. Let me see. Listener text, April Fool's joke for South Dakota sports you'd never believe. Listener text, 2 Rapid City schools have agreed to combine their football teams, and it's going to be one team to compete and make them competitive. Stevens and Central combined football efforts. Come on now. Let's take it easy. Another one. Keep them coming here. South Dakota high school activities introduce a sanctioned sport, rugby for high school sports. Now, did you ever think? Here's an April Fool's joke that actually came to fruition. Did you ever think we'd have esports? I'm being serious. I'm not picking on the esports kids. I never thought if you thought we're going to have esports as a sanctioned event, we're going to have a state tournament of esports and it's actually streamed, SDPB and the whole thing. Go back 10 years. Would you ever believe you'd listen to a sports radio show in South Dakota and say, hey, we're going to have sanctioned esports? You'd think it's an April Fool's joke. So rugby? That's probably not too far off, I would tell you. Hey, what are people voting for on this? My top 3 were football classes reduced. That's my April Fool's joke of all time. You would never believe in South Dakota. We got to keep them at 7. I think it's a law from Congress, but we got to keep football classes at 7. If I told you state tournaments were going to move to one location, the state Bs aren't going to be in Aberdeen, I don't know what would happen. I might be in big trouble on that one. But if I told you state tournaments in one location, you would think I'm lying today. And my last one, SDSU, USD jumping to FBS. Those are my April Fool's jokes, South Dakota sports version today that you would never believe. Which one is the biggest joke of all? 43% of you voting the state tournaments all combined in one location. That's the furthest from possibility. Is that correct? I don't know. That's a close one. State tourneys combined, that's probably a tough hill. That's tough sledding to get that state tournament discussion going. Football classes reducing. We had the conversation. When was it? I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now? Like, it went to a board meeting to actually reduce the number of classes. It was on the way. And then it got, shut down out of nowhere. It was wild. So, that's your second vote. 36% of you say football classes reduced would be the biggest joke not to believe. Listener text, one more April Fool's joke, South Dakota sports version. Sioux Falls Little League breaks up their super team, and they form 3 other leagues in the city. I don't think that would happen, do you? Yeah. We got to get to the Little League World Series. What are you talking about? There's a lot coming in. I mean, there is a bunch coming in here. I'm trying to play catch-up. You tell me. Here's one for you. I didn't put this on my list, but here's a big one. April Fool's joke, South Dakota sports version. South Dakota high school kids will not transfer just for sports. What do you mean? They're transferring for sports in South Dakota high school? Across the state? South Dakota high school kids, take a step back. They transfer for geometry. They transfer for academics. Well, that's what they're supposed to be doing, Nate. Oh, sure. That's what they're doing, right? That's my 4th one that didn't make the list. I should have put it up there. South Dakota high school kids, they don't transfer for sports. Nobody. I mean, we can't prove it. We don't know why they're transferring. They're transferring for academics. It's a better fit. It's a better fit over there academically. Nice one. Let's see. One more. South Dakota April Fool's joke. South Dakota sports version. Which one wouldn't you believe? Your votes are strong here. Here's one. My vote would be South Dakota is going to make all the private schools opt up a class. Take it easy. Take it easy. That's it. Hey, we're getting dicey now in our April Fool's jokes. By the way, South Dakota sports version. I'll read a couple more here. Let's see. South Dakota Sports April Fool's joke. Nate Brown retires from his show and announces his investment into yet another Rapid City indoor football team. Now you got me. I was going to say this. I was going to bring indoor football into this. Who's going to try indoor football again? Will South Dakota have another indoor football team? We announced the Fighting Nate Browns. We leave a stain. Anyway, what are we doing? What's happened? I don't know what's happened to this program, but that's a good one. That is a good one. Nate Brown retires. I would like to retire. I'm not quite there. And the investment, probably not an indoor football team. So I think you got me. Good. The number one April Fool's joke on this show today, combining all the state tournaments. That's the number one vote on Twitter. You tell me. Biggest things that would never happen in South Dakota sports. I hate April Fool's jokes, so I thought, let's bring some to the forefront that you would never believe. Combining all state tournaments, the number one vote getter as we get going. Matthew Morse is going to join us. Let's go to South Dakota State. A lot of things happening there in the men's basketball program. Eric Henderson's out. Brian Peterson's in. Matthew Morse, let's go inside the program. What is his take as he's got another year left and some players transferring out? Matthew Morse live from Brookings next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Rapid City forecast. Rain likely with fog and spots early this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 40. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mixed precipitation possible at times. Tonight, lows dip down to about 31. Cloudy skies expected. About an inch of snow tonight through tomorrow. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 39.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Cadillac Jacks is Deadwood's exclusive home of the Roaring Riches Jackpot. Just be actively playing your favorite slot machine with your club card engaged for your chance to win. The Roaring Riches Jackpot starts at $7,500 and must hit by $10,000. Plus, you can keep up to the minute on the current Roaring Riches total on your Cadillac Jacks mobile app. Roaring Riches has already paid out $2 million. Anyone at any time on any spin. You could be the next to win. Only at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live Tuesday edition of the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Hope you had a great day. Heads up out there, a little slick in places. Springtime snow, all that stuff. Can we get out of this stuff? I mean, it's April 1st. Getting hit with April Fool's joke across the state. Hope you're doing all right. South Dakota Sports Talk Show packed tonight. Regional, national guests. Let's go to Brookings. Matthew Morse. South Dakota State men's basketball. I'll tell you, there's some changes going on there, so I appreciate Matthew coming back on the program. He's on Fox Sports Radio talking Jackrabbit Hoops. Matthew, good to have you back on. How are you?
Good. How are you? And thanks again. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate your time. I know it's busy and people leaving and all of that stuff, so I wanted to get your reaction from inside the program. You've been there now. You're one of the leaders there. So reaction first to Coach Hendo, the news coming across the line. You played for this guy. What was your reaction when the news came that Henderson's going to Drake?
I guess obviously right away. The news is like bittersweet because you're happy for Hendo, and I mean Hendo's like one of the best guys all across the board at just about every single aspect you could look at. But I mean, it was a stressful week for sure, but like I was saying, like we couldn't be happier for him, and I know he has a big opportunity, him and his family, but at the same time, the ball got rolling quickly over here, and so we're excited how things are going now.
I know you got a meeting tonight, so I wanted to ask you about this. The ball gets rolling quick. How did you react as a player? And tell me about other players that are staying there at the program right now. Brian Peterson, he's been there as an assistant with you guys. You know him well. What was the take on him getting the head coaching job rather quickly?
Yeah, I know the staff who is working at South Dakota State, President Dunn and Mr. Sell, they just wanted to get things moving as fast as possible, just to put us like in the best possible situation as student athletes, where there wasn't a lot of time for us of, I don't know, sitting and wondering who is going to be our next coach. And they picked Coach Pete, and obviously we put full trust to the athletic department here. But Coach Pete is just a guy who he shows up every day, and he's probably one of the most genuine guys you'll ever meet. If I don't know, he's around us on a daily basis, and I know he has a special relationship with every single player, and he has a way of connecting with guys and just the people who he's in contact with every day. And so like I was saying before, it was a really stressful couple of days, just with rumors going around, and then it actually happening to, all right, we're going to find a coach as fast as we can, and it did happen pretty fast. And so a big shout out to the whole SDSU upper athletic staff, and they got the thing done, and they got it done right.
What would you say the team's reaction is as far as scale of 1 to 10? Like, Brian Peterson's been there, you know him. How big of a deal was that they went with a guy there?
I think it was a really big deal. And like I said, like a lot of people have a really, really good relationship with Coach Pete. So I know that when they told us he was our guy, we were excited. It was almost like a breath of relief for all of us. I know we got a really, really good core of guys who are staying, and a lot of it is South Dakota guys from around here, but especially us South Dakota guys. Like we playing for South Dakota State really, really means a lot to us, and with Coach Pete at the helm, we just know that we were really excited, and I mean we got to work right away, starting lifting and workouts. So he's probably a really busy guy right now, but we're excited, and we're excited for the direction that the program's going.
Matthew Morse joining us tonight on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, South Dakota State men's basketball. He's the senior there for the Jacks, and Brian Peterson now the new head coach after being an assistant. Give us a little insight into Coach Pete, you call him. He was a head coach, JUCO. He's been an assistant now here. Give us some insight into what style he brings, what type of basketball coach he is.
He, basketball-wise, I mean, I don't know if you're going to find a coach in the whole country who works as hard as he does. Like we talk about it with the guys that he lives, just lives the game of basketball. Like he knows more than just about any coach that I've been around, and he never settles. He's always learning himself, and he's always trying to, I don't know, just get better in every single way possible. And he loves basketball, and he also loves being around his players and just developing relationships with them. I think that's one thing that stands out about him is he's going to make sure to go and talk to everybody on the team and connect with them. And he did that as an assistant. He had a bunch of things on his plate. And he'll do the same thing as a head coach, but he's a basketball wizard in my opinion. He knows a lot about the game, but the game's always changing, and he's changing right with it. But from a play style, I think he's gonna we're gonna play pretty free and confident, just kind of like how South Dakota State normally does, but it'll be done his way, and I know we're all excited for that.
Matthew, what are you going to miss? The program's going to miss from Henderson. What do you think's going to miss there?
Coach Hendo, he had an energy about him every single day that not a lot of people have. I know that was something that stuck out to a lot of people, and also the way he connected with others as well. Like Coach Hendo is, I don't know, obviously we're going to miss him. I'm going to miss him, but he just had a way of, I don't know, kind of connecting with guys as well. And it's something that we appreciated and we valued. And he's probably one of the better guys who's out there in the head coaching field, all in America. And so he's really good at what he does, and we're going to miss him. But we're also at the same time, we're happy for him, and we know it's a big opportunity for him and his family. And I know his family's around us all the time, and they're excited about it as well. So we're happy for him at the end of the day.
Okay, I want to get your reaction. Matthew Morse joining us, South Dakota State senior men's basketball. The Jackrabbits' new coach is Brian Peterson. Players have entered the transfer portal. This is the new era of that, Matthew. So you transferred into South Dakota State from Wisconsin, for example, but now players can enter very quickly and head out. There's a couple of guys that are. How does that go amongst the team? I've seen you kind of point out you wish these guys good luck, and you do that publicly. It's like, hey, man, good job, good luck to you. How do you take that when players are transferring?
Yeah, I think it's especially different when there's a head coaching change. I think that just makes guys kind of sit down and Coach Hendo, he was probably the main guy recruiting all of us. He's the head coach. And so with him leaving, I think that kind of opened things up for a lot of people, which is totally understandable. But at the same time, we know that it's a privilege to be a part of South Dakota State men's basketball, and it's a family, and it's a culture that's, I'd say, different from a lot of other programs around the United States. And so we don't take it lightly, for the fact that it's a really, really good place, and we want people to come here, and we want people who want to come here at the end of the day. But especially with a coaching change, just talking with the guys, we could never fault someone for leaving for that. Of course, I know maybe it's different when I don't know, there's not a head coaching change and some guys just going from team to team. But I think everyone this year kind of had their own reasons, and it was pretty much open and honest conversations with a lot of people where they're like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of go see what's out there for me, or whether that's maybe following Coach Hendo to Drake. But, yeah, I think it was pretty, open, and we talk like a lot amongst ourselves, and so we're happy for one another. And at the same time, we know that like Coach Pete, he's our guy right now, and so we're excited to get back to work with him.
Okay, I want to get your read. Like, think about Zeke Mayo goes to Kansas. Kyle goes to UCLA. Now he's going to Syracuse. Man, you guys could have had those guys. Does that? You ever think about that? Man, we could have won the Summit League. You throw those guys back in.
Yeah, and that's the tough part about it nowadays. And obviously, I was in the transfer portal, and I came back home. I had my reasons, but that was probably the biggest one. Like, I just wanted to go back home, and I know that played a big role into why Zeke was going. But at the same time, like guys like Zeke, guys like Will, South Dakota State puts you in a unique spot where if you're playing really well and the team's doing really well, like there's going to be a lot of opportunities for some guys who are doing well. And with that too, like you got to realize South Dakota State is a really, really special spot where we can do special things. But at the same time, like it's just hard to have hard feelings for people who are just looking at it like after the season's over and they're trying to evaluate like themselves and what they want to do with their life and their career. And if they think leaving and going somewhere else is the best decision for them, then that's fine. Like, they can do that. That's their own choice. I don't think we can fault anybody for that. But at the same time, like, again, South Dakota State's a special place where you can not only like make a name for yourself, but also like represent where you're from. I know that's really big for us guys from South Dakota. Like, it just means a lot for us to stay home and play for the Jackrabbits.
You got a good nucleus of South Dakota kids. Matthew Morse, senior for the Jackrabbit men's program. You got a coach stepping in, Brian Peterson. How do you evaluate what's this next season look like, at least right now? You guys fell a little short, got knocked out of the Summit League tournament. What's this team look like for you as you get set for your 1 year left as of now?
Yeah, I know Coach Pete. He's working really hard. He's on the phone a lot, and that's with recruits, guys who are coming out of high school, and then also he's going to be active in the portal and getting guys, and he's working on getting a staff. And so he's really busy. But at the end of the day, like we talked about it as a team, just with us players. Like, we gotta the guys who are staying, like, we gotta just stay as tight as we can, like in our circle, and lean on one another. When, I mean, it's probably not the easiest of times. Like, we only have, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys who are around and working out right now. And so the guys who want to be here and who are going to be a part of what we got going on next year, we're really motivated, because obviously things didn't turn out the way we wanted them to in Sioux Falls. And so we've been getting after it so far, and I know that's not going to stop. And if anything, it's going to be elevated now, just with the changes that are going on. Like, we're super excited and we're super motivated. So we're going to be ready to go come season start.
Matthew Morse getting set, senior for the Jacks. Appreciate him coming on, talking Jackrabbit hoops. Brian Peterson, the new head coach. He's been there 6 years under the Jackrabbit staff. Matthew Morse, good luck to you, man. Let's stay in touch. Thanks for hopping on, shedding some light on it.
Of course, yeah. Thanks again for having me as well.
I appreciate your time. Matthew Morse on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota State men's basketball. Some insight inside the locker room. Wanted to get a player's perspective. A lot of times people wonder, well, what's this happening? What's that happening? Well, that's good perspective. Henderson goes to Drake. Sounds like the players really enjoyed playing for Hendo and the opportunity he got now, and it sounds like they're happy with the administration going with Brian Peterson. Quick decision, trying to keep the team together, and the Jacks trying to get set for 2025-26. Matthew Morse, senior for the Jackrabbits on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Let's go to Mike McFeely from North Dakota. I want his perspective on the Summit League, the transfer portal, this whole scene in college sports mid-major wise. Mike McFeely, Inforum.com. Great guest live from Fargo next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big money on your roofing project at Menards. Atlas Shingles provide the best value in residential roofing, featuring a limited lifetime warranty and up to 130 miles per hour wind warranty. Plus, save time and labor with their super wide design. Choose from 20 styles in stock, ready to take home today. Stop in to shop our wide selection of roofing products or visit Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Village Heart dinner rolls are a must for the upcoming holiday. Getting together with family and friends is great, but to be honest, I really look forward to the big holiday meal. And whether we roast a turkey or ham, we always have plenty of Village Heart dinner rolls. They're great with the meal, but they also make the best little turkey and ham sandwiches the next day. Baked locally and delivered fresh daily, Village Heart dinner rolls are the natural choice for holiday meals.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
It's game on at the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood. With next-level game packages at the BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort has the perfect spot to watch college basketball this season.
Hit that one from the parking lot!
Cheer on all your favorite teams in a comfortable lounge lined with wall-to-wall television arrays.
And that's it! What a comeback!
Seat packages include free play and dining credit to take your game day to the next level. Get yours today at tinlizzy.com. And don't miss a single moment of the NCAA basketball tournament at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Do you have a financial game plan for your life? Hi, this is Lee Cruz, your local trusted New York Life agent here in Rapid City. My passion is helping you put the pieces in place for your family to make sure your game plan is a success. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping people like yourself take action in securing their future. Don't wait, take action and Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. We will work together on putting your family first.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to the Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live every afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show, glad you're here. Coming up, Jerry Brewer is covering the Final Four, national columnist, Washington Post. Jerry Brewer in tonight. Frank Schwab covering the owners' meetings in the NFL. National NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. Frank Schwab on tap. They have tabled the tush push. What? How do we even tabled the tush push? Okay. And I like the reason. I like the reasoning why they tabled it. If they can get this change added, I love it. We'll get to that in the NFL. Mike McFeely's back on. Inforum.com, columnist. Mike, good to have you. A little bit of snow in North Dakota, Minnesota today. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Haven't heard from you for a while, so I thought that maybe you had lost my number, but you texted me today, so I'm happy to come on.
I wanted to get you on April 1st to announce North Dakota State is going FBS. Come on. Come on.
You're a cruel, cruel man. You're a cruel man. You know how much that means to me. My goodness gracious.
Have you ever done that April Fool's joke? Have you ever done that NDSU?
That's not my personality. I'm pretty straightforward. I'm not into the playing tricks on somebody.
I'm not either. We got media companies announcing that this concert and that concert. I mean, I don't get into that.
I mean, especially in our business. I mean, the media are already under enough duress in terms of people trusting us and believing what we say. So why would you go down the road of telling people a lie to get attention? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know the way it is in wacky FM radio.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to do that type of stuff when they're a morning DJ.
I know
on
that.
the Fox 105.9.
You should have. You could have done this. Believe me. Okay.
I did do this. I was a talk radio host for 10 years, man.
Wow.
That's why I've had many issues in my life, is because of being in the talk radio game for 10 years. But yes, go on. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, let's get to this. Let's get some real news. Your reaction to Eric Henderson going to Drake. I think it's just, I mean, that's a no-brainer if he got the job. People say, well, that's not that big of a step up. How do you see it?
Oh, sure it is. I mean, people who say that don't know what they're talking about. I think it's the logical next step for him. I think he was in the mix for that job actually a year ago before Ben McCollum got it. And so it was just a matter of time before Eric Henderson left to go somewhere. And that Drake is a great job. I mean, look at where the guys prior to him have gone from Drake. So it was not a surprise in any way, shape, or form. We were hearing up in Fargo immediately after McCollum left to go to Iowa that Eric Henderson was very much in the mix for that job, and it turned out took a little longer, I think, maybe than people thought. I don't know what that was all about, but but he took the job, and that's a logical step for a Summit League coach. The Missouri Valley Conference is a clear step above the Summit League, and so you're going to take that step up. And I haven't seen the salary figures because Drake is a private institution. They don't have to publicize them or make them public. But I guarantee that he, probably doubled his salary going to Drake. And it's a place where you can win. It's a place where you have access to players, and it's a perfect step for Eric Henderson. Good for him. He's a good guy. Straightforward shooter. Was an assistant coach here in Fargo for a few years. Great guy. He had a lot of success at South Dakota State, and he proved that he can exist in the modern basketball world because he basically lost his entire team a year ago and rebuilt it into. They didn't quite get where they wanted to get at South Dakota State, and they lost in the quarterfinals of the tournament. But he had a strong team. He had a bunch of young freshmen from South Dakota that were excellent, and he'll do just fine at Drake. And South Dakota State, by the way, will be just fine as well. That's the nature of the beast, Nate. I mean, you know that. It's the nature of the beast at all these mid-majors is you hire good coaches, they have success, they move on. It's like the fourth time South Dakota State's been through it in the last, 7-8 years, and they've always come out on the other end just fine.
And here's how they've done it. They stayed in-house on the next hire, and they did it again. Brian Peterson, he was a JUCO head coach, and he's been an assistant here with Henderson. How important do you think it is for mid-majors in this environment to stay in-house in this transfer portal environment? Is that key?
Well, what I've heard from a couple different coaches, for what it's worth, is that the players really have more influence even in the next coaching hire than they have before, because all they have to do is go into the athletic director as a group and say, if you don't hire Coach A, we're all leaving. And so I don't know. I do not know that happened in South Dakota State, but I've heard that's becoming more and more of a thing, that players will go in and say, hire this guy or we're all going to leave. And so then athletic directors are saying, well, okay, and I mean, this guy is ready for the job, so we'll hire him anyway. Again, to make clear, I don't know if that happened in the case of South Dakota State, but I think it does help retain players. But if there's nobody on staff that's qualified, then you have to go outside. I don't know if there's any blueprint for mid-majors. I just don't. I mean, I think you just have to hire the best coach available, and if some players leave, they leave, and if the guy's a good coach and has the right contacts, you can fill through the transfer portal anyway. And so I think that a place like South Dakota State, again, there's a term that one of the NSU football coaches gave me several years ago that's called access to winning. He said North Dakota State's always going to be a popular place for football coaches to go to because you have access to winning. In other words, you have the tradition, the resources, the location, the benefits, the nutrition, all that stuff. South Dakota State in basketball and in women's basketball and in football have access to winning because they support the program with resources, and they have a beautiful arena. They have fan support in Brookings for the basketball programs, and so that's going to be an attractive job. And the guy that got it, I'm sure is qualified and will do just fine. But I just don't know if there's a blueprint anymore for mid-majors to hire head coaches.
Mike McFeely joining us on the Pizza Ranch hotline, Inforum.com columnist. He's on there. Find his work at Inforum.com. So let me get your read on this, the transfer portal. You've seen it happen in North Dakota State. It happens to all these. Do you have to, I guess, be ready to have a new team every year, almost an entirely new team in some instances?
It sure looks like that in the Summit League because the last 2 years, and I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I will. A couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, I said the Summit League is just going to lose all of its all-conference players every year because the big boys are going to start coming at them, and the money now is so huge that the kids can't say no, nor should they say no. If that current atmosphere is what it is, the kids should take the money, quite frankly. So I think in the Summit League, I mean, you've got teams that are going to be basically rebuilding every year. North Dakota State has been one of the more stable teams in the conference, and I think that Dave Richmond has to fill like 7 spots for next year. He's got like 3 guys coming back or 4 guys coming back. And so it's the nature of the beast in the Summit League. You can literally look at the top 2 all-conference teams in the Summit League on the men's side every year and say every kid that has eligibility is going to be gone, because that's just the way it's going to be. When Trace and Eaglestaff gets $1.2 million or whatever it was from South Carolina for a team, frankly, that was North Dakota, 12-21 or something like that.
Right.
He got 1.2 million is the number that I've heard from several people who should know. I mean, how do you keep a kid? You shouldn't keep a kid. I mean, you shouldn't. The kid should go. Jakari White, the number I've heard for him, the transfer from North Dakota State, a good shooting guard, good defensive player. He's looking at $500,000 or $600,000, and so you just can't say no. And so the Summit League teams are going to lose their players every year, the top players.
Yeah. Haley Timmer on the women's side. South Dakota State women have been really careful not to have this happen, and I don't know how they've been, staying out of this, but now Haley Timmer, one of the top players, has been there. She's going to graduate, and then she's going to the transfer portal. I was interested in, what do you think? South Dakota State women, that's a great program, but no, it's not like top tier in the women's game, and they lose Haley Timmer.
Well, it's pretty good, though. I mean, they were ranked, 23rd? I mean, there's clearly a huge delineation between the top 4 or 5 schools. You saw what Connecticut did to South Dakota State. But SDSU, Aaron Johnston has a top 25 program in Brookings, South Dakota. He mostly gets kids from South Dakota and Minnesota. And I think women generally, because they're way smarter than men, and the money's not there, is another, but they just don't transfer as much. They're certainly transferring at the high levels of college basketball on the women's side, but mid-majors, there just hasn't been as much, and I don't know if there ever will be, because I don't know if the money's going to be there. But I was a little bit surprised when I saw that. When I saw Haley Timmer's name in the portal, AJ just hasn't lost any girls or any women. He just hasn't. He's retained every single one of them through this whole upheaval of college basketball. So he's got the formula worked out, and good for him. But I don't know the inside story. I know that she had a pretty bad knee injury a couple of years ago. I don't know that she was the same player that she was in the past last year from the little bit that I saw her. But she must have an opportunity, or she has an idea of what she wants to do. And if she spent 4 years in South Dakota State, on their program, good for her. I mean, the coaches now, Nate, I mean, they can basically hope to get 2 years out of players, and then they just say, "Okay, you gave me 2 years. See you later." And so it's a sad state of affairs. What it's become. Although, I do support the rights of the players to move around. I just, at some point, we have to have some guardrails here. At some point, there has to be some sort of bumpers put up. Otherwise, you're going to have a really hard time retaining fan bases and boosters and donors if you have a brand new team every single year.
One of the buffers.
What do you latch on to if you're a fan of North Dakota State or South Dakota State or UND? Or USD had a bunch of kids go in the portal again on the men's side. What do you latch onto when you have 10 new guys every single year?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. One of the buffers I want, could we move the transfer portal day to not open in the middle of the men's and women's tournament here?
Yeah, I mean that's a simple one. I don't know that I don't know that affects the Summit League, because basically the Summit League team is. They're going to have a tough time winning any games in the tournament from here on out on the men's side. So I don't know that it affects that too much, but it's going to be interesting to me. We've seen so much change the last 5 years in college sports. What's it going to look like in 5 more years? We know more money's coming in. I mean, we know with the revenue sharing and the new media contracts that the SEC and the Big Ten are just going to be. They can just buy whoever they want. They can buy whoever they want. The South Carolina coach who just wooed Trace and Eaglestaff to go down to Columbia, South Carolina, somebody pointed out a podcast that he did talking to the host of the podcast, and he said starters in the SEC in basketball, the negotiating point starts at $1 million.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you can't compete with that, at South Dakota State, North Dakota State, USD. You just can't. But I think even at this level, you're going to have a collective and pay kids, what's $50,000? I don't know, $60,000, $75,000. Otherwise, kids are not going to want to come. If you want to compete in the Summer League, you want to compete with the Mountain West schools, you're going to have to pay players a significant amount. And significant to me is $50,000 or $75,000. That's $50,000 more than I had when I was in college.
Yeah.
So,
There's
$50,000
no doubt
more than I have now, as a matter of fact. So
there you go.
It's going to be fascinating to see where all this ends up in 5 years and what becomes of mid-major college sports. It's not trending in the right direction right now, for sure.
Mike McFeely back on tonight, Inforum.com. That's where you'll find him, columnist, live from snowy Minnesota / North Dakota. Mike, good to have you back, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on, Nate. Always appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Good to have him. Mike McFeely, again, find him at Inforum.com. Columnist live from Fargo. Mike McFeely, always great. Let's revisit our question of the day. Let's take a look here. What is, let's see. I want to take a look. Some of the April Fool's jokes that you would never believe in South Dakota sports. Your South Dakota sports version of April Fool's jokes that you would never believe if we announced it. This is happening in South Dakota sports today. Which one would you never believe? Any topics that come across your mind? 605-720-1067 on the text line. We're back with more next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the #1 source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at rbarapidcity.com and start gliding again.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mixed precipitation possible at times tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 31. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tomorrow. A mixture of precipitation likely. Highs level off around 40. About an inch of snow tonight through tomorrow. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Spring is in the air, and so are the savings at Highmark Credit Union. Ready to hit the road this season? How about a new ride with a new car loan at unbeatable low rates for qualified borrowers? At Highmark Credit Union, you can drive away with low rates, flexible terms, and the freedom to make every trip to Highmark or on the road feel like a spring vacation. So, what are you waiting for? Spring into action today with a car loan from Highmark today. Visit highmarkfcu.com or stop by and see us. The road to savings starts here. We'll make it happen. Terms and conditions apply. Visit highmarkfcu.com for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in, The Nate Brown Show. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can catch parts of the show that you missed, like Matthew Morse. We went to South Dakota State men's basketball. Senior Matthew Morse tonight joined us live from Brookings before their team meeting tonight. Give us some insight into the changes in the program and the new coach, Brian Peterson. So Matthew Morse started the show. Mike McFeely moments ago on the transfer portal and the mid-majors and coaching changes and player changes. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. That's where you can find all of these guests, all of these interviews. So every show's there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Search the Nate Brown Show. If you miss parts of the show live, search the Nate Brown Show wherever you get your podcasts, and you've got us. Let's take a look at what's on tap tonight. Second hour, ready to go. Frank Schwab, NFL national writer covering the owner meetings, yahoosports.com. Jerry Brewer's in, national columnist, WashingtonPost.com, covering the Final Four. What's on tap? Brought to you by the new Campfire Bar, home of 20 local brews at the new Mr. Liquor off Catron Boulevard, Rapid City. Mr. Liquor, South Dakota's best and biggest liquor store. Check it out. Selection unlike any other. The new Mr. Liquor and the Campfire Bar inside. Your home for live sports and 20 local brews. Watch your team at the new Campfire Bar off Catron Boulevard inside Mr. Liquor. All right, let's go to this little update on what we discussed yesterday. Let's take a look at the final poll results yesterday, okay? Let's take a look at the final poll results. Do you think we should take a look at banning the torpedo bats? So I put the polls up every day, and then we wrap this show up. We do 2 hours, and we wrap it up, and then I always get the notification, hey, here's where the final vote lasts. So we were talking about the Yankees, and what is it, though? I've seen the torpedo bat stories on Fox Business, on CNN. I mean, the torpedo bats, how have they made the mainstream news? What is this? I mean, you can't, some of the sports stuff doesn't make the mainstream news. The torpedo bat thing made the mainstream news when we got Liberation Day tomorrow. I mean, what's the deal? We're talking torpedo bat stuff on the. So, if the torpedo bats continue to produce home runs at this record-setting pace, should MLB take a look at banning them for now? Like, you have to be like, hey, we can't change this whole season around. Let's take a look. Are these appropriate? Should you take a look at banning them? What do you think the final poll results were on the Nate Brown Show question of the day yesterday? 53% of you say no, just keep the bats. 47% of you, yes, you have to take a look at banning the bats for now. Well, just last night, Elly De La Cruz, Cincinnati Reds, had 2 home runs and 7 RBIs off the torpedo bat. And so you have this argument now of guys like me saying, I think it's taking it up to the line of too much of an advantage. Like, well, everybody can use them. I understand that scenario. It's taking it up to the line. I think it gives you an unfair advantage from normal baseball play. This isn't, this is like a new invention, so to speak. And so it gives you that advantage. I think it takes it right up to the line for me. But then there's other people, and I've heard them, oh, this is great. Let's just keep it going. Home runs, this is going to be great. You got 20 runs. You got 9 home runs. You got Elly De La Cruz is just blasting pitches off of his hands over the fence. I don't think that's the scenario that you really want. It's called sport authenticity. It's called the integrity of the game. Am I that old-fashioned that integrity of the game seems to be taking it up to the edge of the line with these torpedo bats if they're really giving this much of an edge? Let's see here. Listener text, MLB is going to have to ban the torpedo bat if they prove that it gives a hitter an advantage. They banned the sticky tack for pitchers. Oh, good point. Good point. You guys remember the sticky stuff, right? We have to check everybody's hands now. Well, what's the deal? Everybody could use it. Why don't we just let the pitchers get away with it? The reason is, I know the answer tonight. MLB likes all the offense. Colin Cowherd on Fox Sports Radio likes all the offense. He hasn't talked this much baseball in his career. I mean, we're a week into the season. I've heard more baseball from Colin Cowherd than I've heard in my history. So they like the offense. They didn't like that the pitchers were striking out everybody. So sticky tack bad, torpedo bats good. That's the difference, and that's what I mean by the integrity of the game. Can't have pitchers have an advantage. Can't have hitters have an advantage with a different tool than they've had in the past. It's got to still be authentic baseball, and the torpedo bat seems like it's really taking it to the edge. 53% of you say keep the bats going. Let's keep an eye on it. Yankees play right now against the Diamondbacks. Yankees are 3-0. See what they do tonight. Let's see what the Yanks do tonight against the Diamondbacks. The full lineup of torpedo bats outside of Aaron Judge. Into the second hour tonight. I'm going to go South Dakota high school sports. So here's something I noticed in North Dakota today. North Dakota is having schools petition up there in North Dakota to their activities association about what class they should be in. Classification, you know what I mean? So these schools are petitioning to the North Dakota High School Activities Association, we should be in this class because of this. What do you think South Dakota high schools should do? There's programs that haven't won in football forever. There's programs that really struggle in their class. Do you think South Dakota high school ADs should take a look and say, I'm just going to petition to go down? Should we do it even more than it happens now? We'll discuss on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Home really is the place to be. Landscapes by Forever Lawn can give your home the lush, natural grass appearance you expect without the work. Our premium materials and construction create a low-maintenance experience of transformational beauty and exceptional wear performance, allowing you time to enjoy your family and friends. Call 605-831-9026 or Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. With dealerships on both sides of the state, we're ready to help you make one of the best upgrades you can add to your home sweet home. Forever Lawn in South Dakota.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Hey Rush fans, it's Rob at the Firehouse Skybox. We are your official home for Rapid City Rush hockey. When the Rush are playing on the road, join other Rush fans at the Skybox and enjoy some great food and cheer on your Rush. We show every Rush away game and we'll have Rush-themed giveaways every road trip. You'll get a chance to win great Rush prizes with the purchase of a drink or food item. The Skybox has the best food and the best Rush game day experience. Go Rush!
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Building your Black Hills dream? Builder's First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs has you covered. Top quality materials, product expertise, all your building needs in one place for materials and services. Just stop in or start at BLDR.com. That's BLDR.com. Builder's First Source. Build it.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Anderson has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Anderson has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Anderson. Learn more at RBARapidCity.com.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
It is the Nate Brown Show on a Tuesday. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Thanks for checking in on South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can stream us on X. Follow the show and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. That's where you'll find us on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Thanks for listening there. And also on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is live, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. Take us over 200 tonight. We got to be trying to be cool with the kids, right? Take us over 200. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Two great guests coming up. National writer Frank Schwab in NFL writer covering the league owner meetings. YahooSports.com's Frank Schwab on tap. Jerry Brewer talking Final Four. He's covering it. National columnist for the Washington Post. So two great guests on the national side straight ahead. Let's get into a South Dakota sports topic, which I kind of wonder why this just doesn't happen almost every year. I mean, sometimes things just smack you up alongside the head when you come in on a Tuesday and you got to put up with all these April Fool's bogus jokes. It smacks me up alongside the head, and I'm like, this is too easy. Well, why don't we see this happen in South Dakota? You can do this in South Dakota high school sports, so why don't we see it happen? But maybe you guys have the answer for me tonight. So how did it hit me up alongside the head? Well, I saw this news coming out of North Dakota today. So today, North Dakota is having numerous high schools petition to the North Dakota High School Activities Association to either drop down in class for basketball or stay in their own class when they're supposed to move up. And why this is news in North Dakota, they just changed their classification system. If you're familiar with this region, North Dakota used to have 2 classes for basketball. That was it. 2. And it was a sense of pride there for a long time. Small schools that made the tournament in that class was like amazing because it was so hard to do. Well, I said it was just becoming too hard, so they went to 3 classes like we have here in South Dakota. But North Dakota is now going through these changes where schools' enrollment and things like this are playing a factor. So there's schools that have to move up when they're used to being in, well, I was playing all of these schools before, but now I'm going to have to move up maybe from B to A. So that's what's going on. That's where this news was prompted. North Dakota today had high schools petition the Activities Association saying, I know our enrollment says we should move up in basketball. We want to stay in the same class. And some of these schools just won a ton of games. They won a ton of games. But they said, if we go up, like let's say we got to go up to AA, we're going to get smoked. So we want to stay in A. So that's what's going on. I will tell you this. I started thinking about this. I don't know how it's going to turn out in North Dakota. I did see the Activities Association's taking a look at these schools that want to stay in their own class. They're looking at them. The Activities Association in North Dakota, for all the schools that wanted to go down, they denied them. They did deny them. Maybe that would happen in South Dakota high school sports. Is that just the case? Why don't we? I've talked about changing the system in the state, meaning you should have a success factor, I think, in South Dakota high school sports, which shows teams that have not been to the postseason, that haven't won games forever. And I point out the Douglases in 11 AA football, the Centrals in 11 AAA football, they've really struggled. They've really struggled. It hasn't been kind of up and down. It's been down. And I've said, how do you not try and have those teams move down a class to build a program? They're not going to set the world on fire. They're not going to beat a ton of teams if they got to move down, but they're going to win enough where they're not beaten by the time they step off the bus in Sioux Falls. And that's what's been happening over the years for a long time now. So let me just say this. Instead of changing the system, maybe you don't want a success factor. I think that's the way to do it, because then you have data and you look over years and you say, well, Central, they've won this percentage of games. You got to have a benchmark. They get to move down. Same story. Douglas has won this percentage of games, no postseason wins. They got to move down. I think that's the way to do it. But the rub is teams that win all the time, they don't want to move up. And that's what success factor usually brings into play. If you dominate your class, you should move up. I'm not going to get into that debate tonight. The debate is, why don't we just do it on a regular basis? Petition down. So I'm asking, why don't should schools be more open? Taking a look here, saying, man, we're having a tough time. Let's go to the Activities Association. Let's go to the meeting and say, here's why we want to go down. We see it sometimes with small schools. So you'll see this sometimes. Small schools in South Dakota have petitioned to stay like 9-man football. Their enrollment has reached a point where, well, you should maybe jump 11B. No, we can't do that. We got to stay 9. So you do see it a little bit. But I'm talking about bigger schools. You hardly ever see it. You hardly ever see schools say, here's our programs, here's where we're at, we're really struggling. Can we go down, like Rapid City Central, can we go down to AA in football and see how it goes? And by the way, I would do it by sport. So I don't need Rapid City Central to go down in basketball. I don't need them to go down in basketball. It's sports specific, and that's the way North Dakota's looking at it right now today. They're doing basketball petitions, and they're saying, hey, where are these basketball teams going to land? I think the Activities Association in Pierre could take a look specifically, but the schools have to want to do it. Why aren't schools doing it? That's maybe the question, and well, our parents wouldn't like it. We're a big school. It's a waste of time, and nobody's going to let Douglas drop down.